Welcome back to Dan's Messy Garage. This is going to be part 2 of putting a starter in a 78 Mustang II with a V6. I got a starter yesterday from O'Reilly, and I hooked it up just from the battery, like jumper cables from the starter to the battery. Big spark show. Starter didn't work. So I went back, got another one. So this time I figured I'm going to hook it up in a more legitimate way. I got ground cable going from the battery right to the starter. I have a positive cable going to a starter solenoid. Out of the solenoid right to the starter. Now for the solenoid to work, you need to ground the solenoid. I'm going to run a little jumper wire from there to the negative. So now to get the solenoid to activate, all you need to do is jump the positive here to that first post. That should connect the battery straight to the starter, and the starter should engage and spin. Now the battery is out, and it's been on trickle charger. It's fully charged, but let's see what we got for voltage. 12.7. We got a good battery. I know the battery is good. So now all I need to do is jump these two terminals, and that should kick in if it's a good starter. All right. It's working. So now I can put this one in the car. I do have 4 other starters in my starter stash pile. That's a high or mini torque Power Master. It's a mini torque out of a 5-liter. Heck, that might even be out of the engine I just tore apart. Then I got these other 2 old ones. One is the 3-bolt end bell and 2-bolt. So in fact, those are 2 bolts. This is a 3-bolt, but you can change these ends from starter to starter. I'm going to hook them up just for fun to my test setup. And I know one of these works. The others, yeah, they spun slow or something, but they weren't working real good. Let me do that now. Okay, I grabbed one of the starters, hooked up just like the old one was. This one works, but it kind of rattles around in there. I can see things rattling, so the bushing in this end bell might be bad. But that doesn't smell real good. Okay, I'm going to try the next one. I'm going to state the obvious here. This little wire isn't big enough to be used in a car. It's short. In this test purpose stage, it's okay. Now this one, I had to turn the starter around, get the connection in there. So you won't be able to see it spin, but if I move you over here, you can. Okay, you gotta watch right there if it works. Here we go. Kind of working. You can see some smoke coming out of there too, right? Yeah, see. I don't know if you can, but I can. Smoke coming out of here and in the back. In fact, that end is already hot, just that little bit. So this one, no good. I'll show you what I was trying to scribble on there. So let me unhook that one and try one of the mini torques. I'm going to have to get creative here. That's not big enough to go on that stud. And this style starter, you just run the battery right to here. And then if you jump these two, it kicks the starter in. So if I take battery cable off of this end of this starter solenoid, hook it right there, it should work. All right, this could be dangerous. So what I'm going to do is take the negative cable off the battery. Now nothing's going to short out unless I take this and touch it to that, and I don't plan to do that. So I'm going to move the battery over, get this to go on there, like that, and get the nut and put that on there. Now if I just jump these two, if the starter is good, it'll go. Let me hook up the negative battery terminal. Move the battery a little closer. That should be good enough. Okay. Watch right there. I'm going to short these and it should work. I see a spark. But no solenoid popping out, no starter moving. I knew one of these didn't work, and this has got to be the one. All right, so you take this off of here again. Okay. And get the next one. Okay, this is a similar setup. There's a tab back here that I need to jump to the positive. But I'm just going to put an alligator clip on it. Now when I touch it to the positive on the battery, if the starter is good, that should work. Okay, that one seems to work. Now, when I put that 302 together, I had this starter in there, and it was going, it was turning slow. And I tried another battery, and it was, so I thought, starter's bad. I went and bought a new starter, put it in the engine, same thing. So, turns out it was just, I had two bad batteries. So this is a good starter. Probably didn't need to buy that. Well, now I know I didn't need to buy the one that I put in the 302 build, but I'm leaving it in there. This is going to be marked good and put in my parts pile. Get that off there so I don't short something. And I'll unhook this. All right, I wrote bad on this one. Bad on the other. They got okay on one and good on the other mini starter. Now I know that the starter tests that I just did are no load type tests, and I have them marked okay and good. I would check them again under load before I really put them in service. But now I know I have a good one here, and that's what's going to go in this car. While I was waiting for the second new starter to come in, I went through and I put a new battery terminal end on the negative cable here. I took all the wires off of this solenoid, cleaned them up, some sandpaper, no corrosion or anything there. They were in good shape, but you know, I didn't have much to do as I was waiting for that other starter. So I got that done. Now it's the unpleasant part, crawling under the car and putting that starter in there. The thing is, I can install the starter. You know, I get it up in there, put the bolts in to hold it, and then twist on the key, and hopefully it engages and starts the engine. Then I can hook the power steering back up, you know, the rack and pinion thing, cross member, and all that fun stuff. But first step is to physically get that starter up where it belongs and get a couple bolts in it. I don't know how much of this you're actually going to see, but I got the camera pointed under here where I'm going to be working. Starter's got to go up through there. And of course, these old ones are heavy buggers. That mini starter, mini torque, high torque mini is a lot lighter. It's gonna go up in there like that. And I gotta put the wire on before I get too carried away here. All right, let me get under there. And I can't see. Whoops. That's what I need though, is that light. Thing is, once you get your hands up in there, you can't see what you're doing. I have to kind of clock the starter left and right. Oh, it feels like it just went in. Yep. Okay, I got one started. I got the, it's an 11/16. I'm going to try to tighten this bottom bolt a little to hold the starter so I can get the top bolt in. Okay, it feels like it started. Yeah. to see if it'll crank the starter. Reach under here if I can and give it a few pumps of gas, because I don't want to crawl in the car as greasy as I am. I really can't get a good good grab on it, but I'm going to turn the key and find out if the starter engages or not. Yes, it does. All right. All right. So it should start. Starter's engaging. So now I get to put on the rack and pinion steering and that cross member. Oh, more fun. I think the first thing I'll try to get on is the rack and pinion steering. Kind of do it in reverse order. I took stuff apart. Now this has got that steering shaft coupler. Ouch. That's got to somehow get put back in there. And I believe that's only going to go on one way. How am I going to find that out, though? What was that? Did you guys see what that was? Sound like something fell. No? All right. I guess I'll have to figure that out later. Okay, it looks like the steering shaft does have a thick spot in the splines, so it should only go on one way. But I don't know how I'm going to align things. That's going to be a mystery here. I remember the bolt was easy to get to when I took it apart, but I don't remember if I turned the wheels in the car. Well, it's only going to go on one way, but I gotta get it close to have it in the right position before I even try to engage the splines. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I think it's break time, folks. Turn this light off. Take a break. I've been upside down long enough. That's the steering coupler there. I'm trying to get on that shaft. And there's splines on that shaft that have to line up with the splines in the coupler. And there's a thick spot in those splines somewhere. But from under the car, I can't really see what I'm doing. And from up here, Really can't reach it good, but I'm going to try. I got to get something that I can stand on out here because the car's too high for me to reach up in there. No, that's not going to work from up here. The shaft, oh, yeah, I just can't do it from up here either. You got to get things to line up and then push the rack up into the coupler. And I just can't do it from up here. I did get something to stand on though, and that's, kind of like too high, but I still won't be able to do it from up top. I gotta crawl under the car and do it. Crawl under here and do it. I don't know how yet, but it's gotta get done. I think what I might have to do is turn the rack and pinion spline shaft thing here with some pliers so I can see where that wide part in the splines is. I have a better chance of lining it up that way if I can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm climbing out from under here. I'll get some pliers. Try turning that shaft. I got pliers. See if I can grab that, turn it. Wait a minute. That's something there. Yeah. Yeah, that feels like a thicker spot in the spline. So now I got to find that same condition in this shaft. Okay, I see there's actually a notch indicating where it is. Okay, so I get this up there. Line that notch up. It seems like I'm so close. This is ridiculous, people. I see the thick spot. I see the notch. I can get them to kind of line up, but I would need to bend the rag joint to get everything, to slide together. And I don't have strength in my fingers to do that. I might have to come back and do this tomorrow. It's just not going well today. Yep, I'm calling it. I'm done for today. Crawl out from under here. Come back tomorrow. It's the next morning. I'm going to try this again. I was looking around for my shop manual for this car, and it's in volume 1, which I can't find. I had a couple sets of shop manuals for cars. I think I gave my manuals away with the Monarch because it was like a Ford general Ford manual that covered a lot of cars. And that 78 Monarch. This is a 78 Mustang. I think they're in the same book. So, I was thinking about this last night. And these cars probably had a collapsible steering column, which means I should be able to push in and pull out on this steering shaft. Because that's part of my problem. I can't get it to engage. I can line things up, but I can't push the rack onto the steering shaft. So I'm going to try pulling down on the steering shaft to see if it moves. But I got to pull it out on an angle. And I don't think I can get in there and grab it. I'm going to try to take and wedge a screwdriver or something up in there. Now, well, whatever I'm pulling on is not moving. That doesn't mean it's not a collapsible unit. Well, I think I'll just continue the fight I was fighting yesterday. Got the flat spot notch in the spline shaft, notch in the coupler. Oh, crap. I gotta get out from under the car and unlock the steering column. I took the key out of the ignition and that locked the column. And I need to be able to turn the column to get things lined up. There just doesn't seem to be any way to for me to bend that rag joint to get it on there. So I'm going to try a different approach. It appears like I have the splines lined up with the notch. And I'm going to see if I can bolt the rack back on the car. Putting that bolt in this side might give me enough leverage to move the rack to get the splines engaged. Let's try that. I think I'm making progress, folks. Yeah, it's in a lot further than it was ever yesterday. Yep. Yeah, it's on. Can't get the bolt in it yet, but it slid on. So, I got one bolt slid in. Better put a nut on that before it slides out. Oh, it's still on. Oh boy. I got that bolt to run through there. And put the other big washer and nut on here. All right, now that's not going to come apart. I think I'm going to work on putting that little bolt here in the rag joint. Got this right in. Now I got to get a 3/8 socket and an extension because this wrench isn't going to do it. Okay. The hell. That's a 12.7/16. 12.38, 6.7/16. So somewhere under here is the 12 point that I used to take it apart. Not seeing it under there. Looking for that socket. What I just did, I went under there, piled all the tools that I was using onto my yoga mats. I'm going to pull them out of here. Because that 12-point socket is missing. I had all this crap under there to do this job. So I'm going to start putting this stuff away. I'm going to find that socket. Sometimes tools will end up underneath the jack stands. There's nothing under them right now. Okay. Back to the job at hand here. That thick copy grease is nasty stuff. But I'd rather deal with that than rusted bolts that don't want to come out, or heads that snap off, strip. Yeah, so this goppy grease is fine. A little shout out, thanks to Chris and Lori. A couple years ago, did I just find it? I just found it. Okay. Shout out, yeah, to Chris and Lori. A couple years ago for Christmas, they gave me a whole bag of these microfiber towels. And those have been coming in very, very handy. Thank you, Chris and Lori, for a couple years ago. That was a good present. I still have a few over there in the bag. But I use them for everything from when I paint cars, cleaning off the paint, and polishing, all the way to just greasy, grimy stuff. But when the towels get dirty from cleaning cars, They go into the grease towel area, and from there, like this one's after it's really gooed up. See, this is the gooey, goppy grease stuff I'm talking about here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it smears and smears. It gets everywhere. But after this towel is all full of grease and gop, it's going to go into another pile, towels. Like when I have a oil slick spill, transmission spill, something like that. Those go thrown right into the oil mess. And that's the end of the towel. But I do get my good use out of all these towels. All right, I'm almost done with this cleanup here. So, there's that greasy, goppy stuff. Let me show it to you here. It's all this. It's all oil, dirt, grease, gop. This will get on your clothes. And then when you go in the house and sit on the furniture or something, it gets ground into the material. But I do keep old bed sheets on my couch. Call it the nap couch. They're on there all the time. And when I need to take a break, I can just go in the house and flop down on the nap couch, right on those old sheets, and all that stuff won't get on my furniture. But I am smart enough to like take this sweatshirt off before I go in there, because the sweatshirt takes most of this, laying on it. That and my pants. But I'll take the sweatshirt off and use that to wipe the pants off, and then go take my nap. But this black goppy stuff gets on the bottom of your shoes, and I have beige carpet in there, so gotta remember to take my shoes off too. Where's my socket? That 12-point socket was on an extension. I set it off to the side. Oh, there it is, over by you guys. It was on the other side of the camera. The bottom ones are pretty easy to get to. You only get like a click or two. But when I got it out, I'll get them in. God, there's just no room. Get up in there. Ah, there. Tight. I think I can crawl out of here for last time. Well, let's hope last time for this. All right, I was getting everything wiped off with my sweatshirt here, climbing the car, but I think I can do it without climbing in the car. I can give her some gas from under the hood here. A couple of strokes on the accelerator. That should do it. Turn the key. Bring the thunder. Okay, it's fixed. So now I can get it down off the jack stands, get it out of the garage, return it to my daily driver status. And with that, this is finally going to be the end of part 2 from Dan's Messy Garage, putting a starter motor in a 78 Mustang II with a V6. Please continue to watch my channel for future videos and look up some of my old videos. Bye.